Cool. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
It's awesome.
And this is my own. Admittedly, I probably passed on it too early to really speak well on it because it's certainly evolved in the probably nearly 2 years since it first started. At the time, I think what I liked the notion of being able to use it at the very least for asset placement, because being able to just drag and drop, like you said, it speeds things up and it's great. At the time, though, I want to say it didn't necessarily drop easily editable code. So if you wanted to go in and tweak it sort of manually after the fact, it wasn't at the time real easy to go in and do that. Like it sort of you had to commit to it hardcore. Which turned me off a little bit to it.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of like the basic thing I went on in the beginning of this. I didn't get it either. I didn't get it either. I didn't build anything with it until the recent change, which got rid of the timeline sequence.
Okay.
And the whole timeline animations. So when I built it and then I gave it to other people, it was just crazy because it was just missing a bunch of code that was in there. But the biggest thing it was missing was importing graphics. You know, you had to either write the graphics in yourself, or you had to put them in the directory. And once you put them in the directory of it, though, it's like really easy. But yeah, I've worked on games since 1980. I've worked on coin-op games. My head's in NBA Jam. That's like one of my claim to names with Revolution X Aerosmith and all that stuff. But one thing we always had were tools.
Yeah.
More tools can never hurt. In fact, I don't think I've made one game where I haven't had to go off and build my own side tools.
Yeah, no, listen, at the very fact that we're using Corona, you know, we're already using Lua. You know, we're already using an extra layer in there. So it's not, you know, it's not like we're writing assembly or anything. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think
nobody is seriously hating on this dude. Like, he's done a great job for sure. I'm not trying to. I was not laughing seriously. It was a joke. Like the fact that it works as well. Like I couldn't do the same thing. Not
Alex is our resident prankster. He likes to throw in.
Poking the bear. Just poking the bear, Eric.
What would you like for the actual thing to do besides just graphics and whatever the other one is? Like, what if it dropped in tables? Imagine if you had like a way for it just to compile a table just by inputting stuff. Right now, I do that with Tiled. You know what I mean? Like Tiled, the top-down 2D thing. And what I do with that is I just type in like name, and then I can cut and paste strings. But wouldn't it be cool if this could just build like tables as well? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I will say in the past when I've had large data tables, and you can certainly go the database route, but I personally have not thus far. I have on occasion, like I'll use Excel to build a list, and then you've got to export that to CSV, and then you've got to convert that to JSON, and then you can take it in to make it a Lua table. If there were a sort of semi-Excel way to just punch in a table, that might actually be a really cool, less obvious feature, but I think one that could be really useful.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
So, Jason, why have you avoided the database route?
I don't know that any of the data sets I've worked with have necessitated it yet, and admittedly, I'm not I don't have a deep understanding of SQL. I can fake it. I can get it in with a little bit of elbow grease and some Google assist and sort of get what I need to get done. But I can't just sit and write SQL queries, So I've just sort of avoided it. And like I said, the data sets I've been working with haven't gotten to the point where it couldn't be handled speedily with just a Lua table.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. The reason I ask is because I've talked to other developers, and they're always just sort of like the text file route. It's good enough, right? I mean, there's just like it's lightweight, just in and out, and I don't really care.
Yeah.
To get wrapped up in the.
But you've done a word game though, which obviously had a large list of words.
That was a text file.
Was it? Okay, so you didn't go database with that.
All right. So.
Well, I'm not sure if I would even go database with something like that, because you a lot of times you need all those words in memory anyway. Databases are really, to me, only good if you need to search for things. So I only want to pull back 10 records out of a million and work with those 10. When I did my trivia game, my database is hosted on a web server. I've got hundreds of thousands of questions, but I only want 20 of them at a time. So I'm not going to load 100,000 questions into memory. So, that to me warranted a database. But a lot of these other things, words don't take up a lot of memory, so why not have them in there and just grab them when you need them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you think about storing images and sound and just storing, JSON files or something of words. That's amazing, though, Rob. You had an app, Rob Miracle, that that hit out to another database and pulled down a query of 20 questions?
Yeah, basically for my game Omni Trivia, it does a network.request call to a PHP file that says, give me X questions out of such and such category, and the PHP script hits the MySQL database and returns a JSON table with the 20 questions that I'm fetching for the player to play with.
Badass.
So, I tried to make it, a little as REST API-ish as I could.
Right.
But, it was one I just needed the API for myself, so I really didn't care how well it worked, but just as long as it did what I needed to do. So not something I'd ever make public, but...
do you think if it did it, you'd have to be online to play it?
No, because I actually store a subset of the questions in JSON tables in the resource directory.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
at least
Yeah,
you've got some questions to play with.
So you have so you can have it online, offline.
Yeah.
So do you start out with a subset of questions and then pull them in from the server later, or is it from the server and then you store the first time it loads or something?
I had a core database of questions, and that's the ones that are locally in the app, and then I acquired more questions later, and they're the ones that are in the database. So the database is like the full set. I can add questions to it. I can update answers, like if somebody reports a question is bad, like who's the current president? That changes over time. So I've got to be able to edit that. So I've set up a little admin interface in PHP to be able to go in and update, add questions, delete ones that don't make a lot of sense anymore.
And was it just something that ran on launch? It would ping your server, check if there was an updated version, and pull it down, or?
Well, no. If it's got an online connection, it fetches all the questions from online.
Okay.
It only hits the local database if you're offline.
Okay. Oh, cool.
So.
Speaking of online, does anyone know what happened to the gentleman from Coronium?
He's
right
here with
now.
us.
Oh.
Yeah, you see that little double-sided P?
Chris is crushing it these days.
Hola.
So what's going on with that?
What's going on with that?
Dude, Coronium was awesome. I remember last December you were helping me through the IRC, and I was able to establish a connection with my Amazon server.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That was sweet.
Not much going on. Just maintaining Coronium, and then I got a new project coming out fairly soon that I think is going to be interesting.
Is that the one you showed me, like the RPG thing?
No, it's something that I haven't talked about or shown anything yet. So I'll be putting that out soon, hopefully, and then just a bunch of other stuff coming down the pipe. What happened, I think, last year was I expanded into too many different projects, so now I got to kind of just pick a couple that are worthwhile and keep going. So that'll just be
how about it? One's hard enough to finish as it is.
Yeah, seriously. So I'll probably just stick with the parse module, working on a new one for that, and then Coronium updates, and then the new project I got coming out, which I think is interesting, and it'll be an interesting tool for Corona developers that are looking to do more business-oriented applications. So,
Chris, it was my understanding a lot of the Coronium and the variations thereof, they were all sort of built so that they were really kind of solid from the beginning, and you didn't really need to do a lot of extra stuff to them. You know what I mean? Like, it seemed like that was you kind of built out the core functionality right from the start and didn't need to continually crank on them. But maybe that was just.
I did develop it, real rapidly, just because it was kind of an organic growth. But so you get behind the scenes. I wouldn't agree. There's definitely a lot of cleanup in the code that I need to do. A lot of documentation, still in the code, and there's still stuff. I wrote the docs so rapidly that there's this stuff in there that's not quite correct, and bad docs are considered a bug. So still got things, but yeah, Chromium's not going anywhere. The GS server doesn't seem to get a lot of traction, but so I'm not sure if I'm going to continue on with that. And then the other thing I want to do is work on a just super high speed UDP server to see if I can just do some intense real time stuff. So that's the status.